All right, plenty of weather out there at the moment, folks, so let's get the latest from Rob Sharpe now. Rob, good morning. The Eastern Rain event is underway. Certainly felt it in the early hours of this morning, so how will today's weather play out?
Yeah, it's a complex beast, this one. So it started out in South Australia and the Northern Territory yesterday, and it's continuing its journey further eastward, as you can see nicely with the satellite and the lightning tracker here, slowly edging across the interior and a little bit for the coastline as well. So across Queensland, you can see plenty of storms. We had totals as high as 75 millimetres in the northwest of Queensland with storms overnight, and you can see it flowing down to about Burke, where there's been 10 millimetres. Charleville's nearly 30, whilst in South Australia there's been a notable easing trend. The wet weather is nearly gone for the state, and the focus is now inland Victoria and into New South Wales, of course. Now, close to the coast, there's also been this little band of wet weather running northwards, and it produced some pretty heavy showers last night around Sydney, for example. You can see those totals flying up early this morning, and it's still pretty wet, particularly on the North Shore, and it's starting to flow out into Western Sydney a little bit as well. And that's set to linger on. It may drift slightly further north into the Central Coast, but it will flow back south again during the day, which is why Sydney, for example, we're expecting periods of rain. They'll probably become most consistent and widespread late afternoon into this evening. But there's the rain event charging across the east of the country. Even Melbourne looking pretty wet for this afternoon and into this evening as this system gathers strength. Now, the severe weather warning currently expands from the far north of Victoria all the way up to and including Charleville, with the risk of heavy rain, and there's potential for isolated totals up to about 80 millimetres. And so for some areas in the far west, we're talking record rainfall for this time of the year. But across the country, more generally, you can see a chance of showers in Cairns, more wet weather potentially in Darwin. We've had close to 100 millimetres now since the start of September, which is racing ahead of usual. Whilst in the southeast, the wet weather is pretty much done for Adelaide. Showers and a cool change for Perth, and rain developing in Canberra and Melbourne.
Okay, so you spoke about all of this yesterday, Rob, so are you still expecting 2 more rain bands before the end of the week?
Indeed, I am. It's going to be pretty wet for quite a few locations. So tomorrow, it'll be wet to start the day in the east, and then it will ease back, and we won't see that much wet weather at the end of the day. But then overnight, it will ramp up with the second rain band flowing across the southeastern regions through Friday, and then the third arriving on Saturday into early Sunday, and that has the potential to produce the heaviest rain of the event, but it will be a little bit more targeted, particularly in central and northern parts of New South Wales as it comes through, clearing off the coast at some point on Sunday. So by Sunday night, it will all be over. But the rain totals by then look pretty substantial. In the teal, more than 50 millimetres, and in the blues, potentially around parts of the Illawarra, maybe parts of Sydney and the Blue Mountains, we could see more than 100 millimetres. And so there's going to be a fair bit of flooding with this.
Okay, that's thank you for that, Rob. Hopefully we get a nice spell of sunshine after those 3 rain bands.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit, at least for a few days.
Okay, talk to you soon.